everybody. Welcome to the Hallmarkies podcast. And we have a very special treat for you today. We are doing one of our Hall Star rankings again. This is going to be so fun. And I'm film critic Rachel Wagner. Dory's here.
Hi, everyone. I'm so excited to be back.
Yes, thank you so much. And we have a very special Hall Star with her second time on the podcast. Ashley Williams is here. Thank you so much, Ashley, for doing this.
Thank you so much for having me. I really love your elf hat, and I got excited because I thought that they were spoons on both sides of but can you turn your head to the side so everyone can see it? Those are ears.
Yeah.
I thought maybe it was like a statement about baking and the holidays, but it's not.
It's a little disturbing because when you think about, because you can still see my regular ears. So like I have two sets of ears, but
you're really good at listening is the message. We're a really good listener.
Like I could be like Fraser Crane, be like,
totally.
I'm Rachel Wagner and I'm listening.
You're listening to Rachel's listening.
Well, Ashley, you're so kind to agree to come and do this kind of crazy thing that we do where we bring on the guest and then we rank their movies and we get to hear all the fun details and everything that's going on. Thank you so much. But before that, we want to hear about your upcoming project, which is so exciting. This 2-part movie series thing that we're doing, the Sister Swap, part 1 and part 2. And of course, you're doing it with your sister, Kimberly Williams. And so tell us a little bit about it and how it kind of came to fruition.
Guys, I have never been more excited about a Christmas project. I don't want to say a Christmas movie because it's 2 movies. But this project has been in the works for almost 5 years. I had this idea that the 2 of us could work together, but I was like, I don't know if we're both in the same movie. I just feel like it'd be so much more fun if she has her movie and I have my movie, and then we go back and forth between the 2 movies. And Hallmark totally was on board, and really it took us a little while to like figure out exactly how to do it, so that's why it took 5 years, but they loved the idea of the 2 of us together, and so it was a really collaborative process, and the movies are so cute. And Hallmark movies are always about, especially at Christmas time, they're about the holidays, they're about family, they're about romance, and we totally have the romance. But more than anything else, these movies are about women supporting women. My sister is my best friend in real life, and it's the same. The same goes for our characters. So it was so much fun, sort of portraying, what we are in real life, which is just 2 women who always support each other. So I think people are going to love it, and it's also fun. Like for those of you that have, the Christmas movie Queen, etc. Like, it's fun because you watch the first movie and then you can watch the second movie. And then if you go back and you watch the first movie again, you're going to realize all these things having watched the second movie. There are not Easter eggs, but we're calling them Christmas eggs that are laid throughout, that are for, fandom folks like you.
I'm so excited about that. So it's not like a sister swap in the sense of like Freaky Friday swap, right? It's like,
we don't switch bodies.
Yeah.
We basically just switch locations. So we're sisters. She lives in the big city. She's a professional living in the big city, and I'm a small town girl still in the town where I grew up. And she's got to come home because she inherits a movie theater by Kevin Nealon. Gives her it's seriously Uncle Dave, played by Kevin Nealon, basically gives her a movie theater. She's got to figure out if she can, keep it going. And so she's got to come to the small town, and I need to go back to the big city so that I can make sure that her restaurant business stays up and running. So we switch places, but the whole time we're talking on the phone. We each show up in each other's cities and surprise each other. We end up working things out for the other behind the scenes in ways that you don't even know the first time around. And the message there is women are always working and supporting each other. And you might not know until much later that it was actually your sister that saved Christmas.
My gosh, give it to me now. I want it now.
Is each story supposed to be in the same Christmas, or are they like multiple Christmases?
The 2 plots take place at the same time.
Okay.
So it's like we start on Kim, And then, I'm there and I come in, and then she goes one way and I go another way. And in the first movie, you get to follow her story. And in the second movie, you follow my story. But then there's shared scenes in both movies. So, but they're shot from a different perspective each time.
I love that.
It's really cool.
It's so cool. Yeah.
It's really cool.
I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I hope it really succeeds and this becomes kind of a new, I like that Hallmark is experimenting with something new. It's very exciting.
I mean, I gotta say, I've never seen such cool, innovative storytelling from them. It's really outside the box across the board, So I think it's a good time at Hallmark. It really is.
Is this the first time that you two have been able to be on camera together, or if you had others?
Well, the truth is, and we don't talk about this very much, but you guys are insiders.
Yes.
I wrote a short film about feminism. And my sister is in it with me. It's the two of us in a bathroom trying to figure out how to confront somebody. I wrote it like right when the Me Too movement was beginning. And I'm like pumping breast milk and crying. And she's like trying to help me figure out how to formulate my like speech that I'm about to give. And it's called Stud Boob. And we had a really good time shooting it. It's just the two of us in a bathroom, and I can get you a link if you're interested.
Nice. And then you had another short that you were at Sundance with, right?
Correct. Yeah, that one I wrote and directed. I didn't direct Stud Boob, I just wrote it. But the short I wrote and directed premiered at Sundance. It was awesome.
That's so cool.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah, it was awesome. And now it's played like 50, 60 film festivals, and we sold it to Showtime. We actually made our money back on a short film, which never happens. We're actually in profit. Yeah, it's huge. It's huge. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was good. So now I'm working on a bunch of other stuff that I can't wait to unleash. Well, has nothing to do with Christmas. Don't tell anybody.
That's okay. We can still talk about it here on the podcast.
Exactly. You guys are my people.
Yeah. We'd like to take a second and thank our sponsor for this episode of the podcast.
Sometimes love needs a little push. Lizzie Shane, the award-winning author of The 12 Dogs of Christmas, has a brand new small-town romance set in Pine Hollow, Vermont, where every happily ever after begins with adopting an adorable rescue dog.
First love gets a second chance into All the Dogs I've Loved Before when the town librarian, mischievous Australian Shepherd, keeps getting loose and fetching her ex, the town sheriff.
Lizzie Shane's Pine Hollow series has been called an irresistible blend of heart, humor, and a whole lot of puppy love.
And To All the Dogs I've Loved Before is available now wherever books are sold.
To learn more, visit www.lizzieshane.com.
That's lizzieshane.com. All right. Well, should we get started on the ranking?
Totally.
Okay.
Totally.
Yeah. And the new movies are on the 5th and the 12th, right? Correct?
December 5th and December 12th on Hallmark Channel, the main channel.
Great.
And really quickly. The first movie will air on the 5th, and then on the 12th, that movie will re-air right before my movie, so that you can watch all 4 hours all together if you want. Make it a double feature night, because you might want to refresh your memory.
I love that.
And we're doing a bunch of press for it. We're doing Seth Meyers. We're doing the Today Show. So it's just not the last time you're going to hear about these projects.
Oh, good. Well, so for the ranking, we only included the first Christmas and Evergreen because it's a smaller role in the other ones, and we're just talking mainly leads. And so other than that, we have 6 films that we're going to be ranking today. And Dory and I do not know each other's lists.
I'm dying to know your list, Rachel. I feel like either we're going to be aligned or we're going to have completely different lists.
I think.
Are you guys going to have a fight in front of me?
It wouldn't be the first time.
No, it would not. All right. Well, why don't you go first, Dory? You're number 6. And as we always say on these rankings, any Hallmark movie is a good Hallmark movie, is a good night. So even if they're lower on the list, we still, had a good time. And I really genuinely could watch any of these movies again. So
number 6 is your
compliments.
least favorite.
is my least favorite. That's correct.
Okay.
Yes.
I know what it's going to be.
All right, Dory, you go first.
I'm glad you prefaced that, Rachel, because I just need to say, like, anyone who has listened to my podcast, All the Feels, knows that Ashley Williams is my Hallmark queen. So
What?
I love all these movies.
Have you ever seen a Nikki DeLoach movie?
She's great too.
She's amazing.
She's
Yeah.
amazing. But you're
Mhm.
still my Christmas queen.
Oh my God. That's
Yeah.
so nice. Thank
When you said yes,
Yeah.
I was like, we have to have Dory on. And I'm sorry to the other co-hosts because
She knows.
huge
Rachel
fan.
knows. Like,
Oh, Dory.
I know. This is just all of my dreams have come true today.
Whoa.
And I need to preface this by saying I like all these movies. I have seen all these movies multiple times. So yes, this is a ranking, but there is no dislike here.
Right.
But it's time.
All right.
Okay, coming in at number 6 is, and I feel like I'm going to get some heat for this from people. Probably not Rachel, but from people. Number 6 is Christmas in Evergreen. Sorry.
That's what Rachel's is going to be.
Yeah. Might not be. I think I know what Rachel's is.
Really?
Yeah, I do. But
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
Christmas in So how does this go? Do you explain why?
so I have Christmas Evergreen a little bit higher. So we'll talk about that when we'll have Dory's opinion on that when I have mine. But my number 6 is Love on the Limb. And it's painful for me to say that because Mary Lou Henner is like my BFF. I absolutely love her. Like we literally are texting buddies. I love her so much and I love you. But I don't know. I just couldn't get behind the whole story of the like save the tree kind of campaign. And I was frankly on the side of the people who wanted to take down the tree.
terrible, Rachel. I can't believe you're admitting this.
Just
I was
cut
like-
it down already.
I was like,
That's
she's being
hilarious.
just too much for me. So yeah, it's my least favorite of the 6.
I understand. What did
Yeah.
you think of Trevor Donovan in that movie?
Yeah, he's always reliable. He's not like one of my favorites leading men, but I always think he does a good job.
Right.
Yeah. But I was just kind of like, just take down this stupid tree.
That is so funny.
Wow.
but yeah. So what do you have at 5, Dory?
I have Love on a Limb at 5.
Okay.
It's like a Love on a Limb hate fest.
Yeah. So tell us why.
Here's the reason why. I feel like I haven't really watched it a lot since it premiered, which tells me that it's not a favorite because most of the other ones I have watched multiple times and sought out multiple times. So, unlike Rachel, I was not on the side of cutting down a tree. I am never on the side of cutting down a tree. That's not my reasoning at all. Hard disagree with Rachel. Save all trees. And I also feel like it just doesn't get a lot of love. Like I don't see it replayed very often. So I can't even because you know how a lot of times you watch things on a second, third watch and you're like, you know what? I actually do like this. I never had that opportunity with Love on a Limb.
But they were going to provide they were going to build all these jobs and stuff there. And they were going to do all this good stuff with the space. And it was just the tree. And there was all this.
Rachel,
but we built
trees
that
are
crazy
majestic.
pipe thing. We built the crazy pipe thing.
Yeah.
That
So
was
it worked
cool.
out. Yeah. So what was that like? And is Mary Lou Henner the best person ever?
I know.
Mary Lou
Isn't she a
Henner is
dream?
incredible. She's incredible. She's so kind. And like the tricks that her brain does are just the coolest
Amazing.
party tricks ever. So fun. Yeah, Love on a Limb, I mean, not to kill you guys, but Love on a Limb was my idea. It's kind of my brainchild. But it's fine. It's fine. I produced it. I was there for the entire prep. getting ready. I chose all the locations. It's very close to my heart, but it just didn't work for you guys, and that's fine. I had fun. It was my first time. That was my first time producing. And it was fun. I mean, we shot in this like tiny little town in Ontario, Canada or something. But I had fun. I do remember on that movie deciding that the word for my character was going to be plucky. And I really leaned into that. And in hindsight, I don't know if I would have leaned in as far. I definitely did a lot of like, hello, sir, like very Hallmark on the nose. It was before I really understood that it could be nuanced performance wise. So, you live and learn. and I stand by. Don't cut down my tree.
That's
Rachel.
right. That's right.
Yeah. Well, luckily the citizens of the town were not as cold-hearted as me, and it all worked out. Yeah. Very good. All right. Well, my number 5 is Holiday Hearts. And I love Paul Campbell, of course, and I love you. But I thought that this whole plot was a little bit strange. The whole idea that like the little girl is like painting pictures of you as a family, and her dad is just in the hospital for like a week. I mean, it's a little weird.
Right. Right. Wait, what was the plot again?
Well, he like hurt his leg, which I don't understand why that required like a week-long hospital stay, but he did. And then you two came to like take care of the little girl, and the little girl
she's
had
not my daughter, and she's not
no,
Paul's
it's
daughter.
the friend's daughter.
So why am I taking care of her?
Because you were just like being nice, but you were also trying to plan this party at the same time.
This sounds so stressful. I don't remember any of this.
And the party was like there were so many Christmas trees in this party, and they were all acting like Let It Snow was the theme, and that was like a revolutionary theme. Like this was way out of the box thinking. Like,
yeah.
I mean, and of course I did really like you and Paul, so that elevates it. But the plot was it was a little wonky for me.
Yeah, I don't remember the plot, which is not a great sign. I do remember like finding out that the script had been written over the course of like 5 days or something. And that they were like, I don't know, we got an air date and we weren't really sure. So we sort of threw it together. Sometimes shooting Christmas movies for Hallmark can feel a little bit like community theater, and in the good and the bad. Like we're all in this together, and we're doing something that's really heartfelt and really fun. But sometimes I hear you, like the details don't really make sense, but it sometimes doesn't matter.
Yeah. No, I mean, I still enjoyed it. And I loved that hospital room in that movie. That's like the most Christmas adorned hospital room I've ever seen in my life. There was even garlands and the quilt and everything like that.
I seriously don't remember that, but that rings true to me.
It's So, what is your number 4, Dory?
Mine is Holiday Hearts.
You guys are very in tune with each other.
We're in sync, which doesn't always happen. So I'm very shocked right now. But I feel like I just am a lot more positive about all of these movies. I don't care about any of those criticisms you just had, Rachel. I simply don't care. I thought it was delightful because it's Ashley Williams, and I didn't hate it. I was just trying to explain my ranking.
Totally.
I understand.
I don't think there's any hate. I don't feel hate from this group. No.
Yeah. Okay. Well, my number 4 is Christmas in Evergreen. I love Evergreen, and the cast is incredible. Barbara Niven and Holly Robinson Pete and you and Jada Lee Miller and everybody. So fun. But I still think that you should have gone with Marcus Rosner instead of Teddy Sears. He flies a helicopter in to be with you for Christmas, and Teddy Sears the whole time he wants to leave. and
But
go to Florida.
it shows me what you look for in a partner, which is a helicopter.
Helicopter ride.
Some of
Well,
us,
somebody who makes all that effort to come and visit you, as opposed to the person who wants to leave.
but Marcus Rosner is not the guy. There's just something missing. It's love is not just about helicopters. It was a show. It was a
Teddy Sears
grandeur statement.
Teddy Sears is also a businessman. I don't think they're that different. Like Marcus Rosner is a businessman, so is Teddy Sears a businessman. The fact, I guess Teddy Sears has a daughter, but
Yes, and a heart. I mean, Marcus Rosner, I get it. Like, I remember him showing up and I was like, this guy looks like a leading man. Like, look at the jawline, you know? I was totally on board with that. And as I was there, I was like, you should not be like the fifth banana in this movie. Like, you know, because he's just so good looking that you're like, what are you doing here? So I'm glad that Hallmark caught on to that. Yeah, because I think the next, or maybe the one after, that he like immediately went up to the top. So you know, in that sense, Evergreen was his springboard, which makes me proud.
But you gotta like Evergreen, and even the truck and the whole ambiance of it all and everything. It's just really fun. So
I mean, here's where we disagree, Rachel, because as you know,
you had it a 6.
Here's where I do get a little more negative.
All right, let's do it.
I can't really handle the Christmas magic of it all. Like a magic snow globe just isn't something I can get behind. The running around the town, like to try and find the key to the door. I was like, I don't know. I wish the love story, but it's like the other stuff. I was like, it's the same reason I don't love Santa movies where Santa winks and then it's like a magical whatever. Rachel, this is where we really
I wish we got
Rachel
more of that. I want
stuff.
more whimsy. I want more Santa. I want more magic.
I want more Santa.
Is becoming really clear to me now. Dory and I have the same sensibility. That's what's happening. Yeah. This is why you love me. And this is why I love you, Dory, because I can't deal.
I can't handle it.
The saccharine stuff, I can't really handle it. The love I can do all day.
Yeah.
But the snow globe and the shaking and it's interesting. There's, you know, because like one time Nikki Deloach and I were both shooting Christmas movies at the same time. And I texted her something like, oh God, like it's so hot, you know, wearing the winter coat and I'll be grateful if I never hear about Christmas again. And she texted back and was like, really? I just feel like I'm loving the magic of Christmas, and with absolutely no irony. Absolutely no. Like she was like, I feel like I became an actress in order to make this Christmas movie. It was when she was shooting the Cranberry Christmas one. And I was literally like, wait, is she kidding? Like, what is wrong with you? What is wrong with you? And that's the difference between me and Nikki. Yeah. And it just means, Dory, like, I get you. I see you. I love Christmas movies as well, but the thing where I feel like everyone's smiling until their face breaks open, I can't handle it.
I can't do it. It's too much. Like the second that Magic Snow Globe came out as like a character, I was like, you know what? I'm out. Like,
and
I'm
the
gonna
music
watch
went
this. I can't handle it. Like,
see, I'm like, I wish they'd used it more.
I know Rachel's like, more bells,
hysterical,
more magic,
more Santa.
Yeah, like there was on Lifetime, Melissa Joan Hart. There was one where where the Nutcracker Prince comes alive, and he's like there, and it's what's his name?
I cannot handle
it. Was
movie
hilarious.
For this reason.
I died
laughing. Insane. It is insane.
It was so funny.
It is the magic of Christmas on crack, and I was like, what am I watching?
It was so good.
So
that's
good.
Amazing.
So good, she says.
Yeah,
so
it
good.
was so funny.
No.
Yeah. I do like the little bit, even if it's just like a Miracle on 42nd Street, like the little like wink wink, maybe I'm real, maybe Santa really is real, you know, kind of, I love that. But then I also love like I don't know, like Elf and stuff like that. Hilarious.
I love Elf.
Elf is
Elf.
great.
But
So
you know what my
funny.
favorite Christmas movie is? Bad Santa, which just
Oh,
shows you
I
about me.
love that
What do you think of that movie,
so
Dory?
much. I'm
loves
obsessed with
it.
Bad Santa.
This is Dory. You
Yeah.
get me and I get you.
Mhm.
I get
Yeah.
you.
Mhm.
It is so freaking funny.
Mhm.
It's so good.
And also kind of dark because guess
Yeah,
what? Humanity is dark.
that's right. The holidays aren't all fun and games. Okay. I might have a
Exactly.
Christmas podcast, but I understand the difference.
Yeah, I know
You
you
like
do.
Bad Santa, Rachel?
I've never seen it.
What?
I've never seen
Oh my
Santa.
gosh, is that the movie that we should watch?
I'm up for it.
That's
It's my
a movie we
I
should
favorite
have some like
watch.
darker Christmas movies. Like I love Gremlins and I love Anna and the Apocalypse. And if you've ever seen that one's so good. Which is a zombie Christmas horror musical.
Rachel,
Really good.
we should do a watch along of Bad Santa
You
just
know
because
what,
I want to see
Dory?
your reaction
You know what,
to
Dory?
this movie.
We might need to vet Bad Santa because I think there might be some stuff in it that's no longer acceptable. let's have a sidecar about it. But do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about. We'll talk later.
Maybe we make that like a patron
Yeah.
perk.
We'll
Okay.
talk about it later.
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll have to have a think on that one.
Yeah, we will. One character that okay.
All right.
Unless you're talking.
Dory.
You do know what I'm talking about. Yeah.
Dory, what is your number 3?
Okay, back to my list. Number 3 is Never Kiss a Man in a Christmas Sweater. Love it. Love it.
Same.
Love Niall
Wasn't that
Mater.
such a
Love
good
it.
movie, you guys?
Super
Mhm.
cute. Love it.
Well, and I love the fact
Adorable.
that you're like a mom and you have a daughter and you have like you don't usually see like divorced people as much in these movies. And so that was
Mhm.
kind of cool. And Niall Mater, he's super charming. Gotta love him. And I
Love
loved the
that guy.
ending of the movie.
Yeah.
And he comes to your door like that. It's like, oh, love it. Yeah.
Yeah, that
And-
movie gave me all the feels. It was so cute. And I
Mhm.
actually remember the weekend I watched it and I had been annoyed for some reason. And I watched it and I was like, oh, it was like an exhale.
Mhm.
I felt happy. So yeah.
Well, whenever you get those Nina Weinman scripts, it's just like, yeah.
She's the
it's-
best.
she
I
is the
love
best.
her. Yeah.
She's won the podcast award for best Hallmark writer every time. Like-
Yeah. She's so good. Like before we started shooting, Hallmark writers, it's a really hard job. And a lot of the time they're writing on
yeah.
a deadline. And I've never had this before, but she got my cell phone number and texted me before we started shooting and said, hey, let me know like if there's anything that doesn't work on the day or blah, 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 blah. And what I ended up doing is before every single scene, I would text her ideas for jokes that I could add in, and then she would tweak them. And so I was able to include like, because usually I will throw in my own jokes and then they get cut because they're too weird. There was one on that movie that I threw in that I thought was brilliant and Nina did too, and they cut it. And it was when Niall Mater is lying in the bed and I think he broke his leg or something.
Yeah.
And what was it? It was like something like that. And I said, well, now at least you'll have a bionic leg. And then I said, who knows what you'll be able to do with that? I mean, like Spider-Man. I went like this. And they cut it. And I was like, well, maybe it was like a DC Marvel situation that it was like a reference.
They
or it
didn't
was
want
like
to get
two-
involved.
Maybe. But anyway,
Yeah.
but she loved it and I loved it.
Yeah. You probably would have been hilarious. I thought the beginning of that movie was hilarious when you like knock him out with the Christmas tree.
Wasn't that funny?
It was
So
really
good.
funny.
We did that in one take. That
Yeah.
first take, I was
Oh,
like,
really?
let's watch it. Yeah, let's watch it back. And it was, we were
Mhm.
all dying laughing. I was like, I think that's the take, guys. I don't think we should do it again.
Yeah.
I
And you
love
did
it.
that pretty soon after quarantine, right? You shot that in
That
the
was
summer.
I did that. Okay. I did that September of 2020.
Oh, okay.
But I had just finished shooting another movie. I had just directed a movie. And then like 2 weeks later, I started shooting that. It was
Mhm.
crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. And they did a good job with the military plot line in that,
Mhm.
that it was more sort of subtle. than like some of the other times when they really try to wring your heart out.
I also watched that. I ended up watching it a few times. I think I probably watched it 2 or 3 times that year, which I don't normally do. Like usually with the new movies, because of the podcast, I watch them once and then move on. But I watched that one a few times for some reason, and it got like stronger for me on the rewatches.
That is such
like,
a good compliment.
Yeah. Yeah. Cause I liked it. I remember I liked it the first time I watched it, but the like grew stronger the second time, the third time. So yeah, it's also really good on a rewatch.
That's huge. Did you notice that there was a character, like a secondary character, who wore the gray dress that I wore in the Paul Campbell movie, Holiday Hearts? Because we had the same wardrobe supervisor. So
no way.
It was, at that big party at the end of Christmas Sweater, this woman comes up. She's like a red-haired girl with curly hair. And she comes up to me and is like, thank you so much. It's like my ex-husband's new girlfriend or something.
Oh, yeah.
And she's wearing the dress I wore for a lot of Holiday Hearts, the exact same dress. And I know this because the zipper was broken. And I was like, is the zipper in your dress broken? And she's like, yes. And I was like, I wore it for 3 straight weeks.
Well, and you notice on the poster of Holiday Hearts, they changed the colors of both your sweaters, or your dress / sweaters.
Yeah, by the way, in the poster of Sister Swap, my blazer changes color in the two posters. It's a green blazer, and I know that because I purchased it from Wardrobe, and it's in my closet right now. It's green, but it's red in one of the Sister Swap posters. The more you know. Yeah.
These are the details that we get you in the Hallmarkies podcast that you would not know. Very good. Yeah. I liked the Never Kiss a Man a Christmas Sweater. I actually even read the book because I enjoyed the movie.
That's love.
So yeah, it's a fun book.
I didn't even
it's got a little bit more salty language than Hallmark, but it's
inappropriate.
Yeah. Okay. So I think we have actually the same next 2, but
yeah, we do.
What do you have for your number 2, Dory?
Northern Lights of Christmas.
Same. Yeah, we do.
And as you can see, I picked this background specifically because we've got some Northern Lights going.
I can't believe that's so high on your list.
I freaking loved that movie. I loved that you were a pilot. I loved that for some reason, I really like the Alaska movies, Hallmark movies. I don't know why, but I do. I loved that movie.
Did you appreciate my reindeer work?
I was just going to say, give me a movie where 2 reindeer fall in love. I'm going to be a fan.
I've done a couple of reindeer falling in love movies.
That's accurate.
It's intense.
You know, what's interesting though, is because for the first maybe like 20 minutes, I was kind of like, I don't know about this movie because Corey Sever's character was kind of a butt and he was driving me crazy because like you have every right to like go and become a pilot and every right to come back and he was acting like you were such a jerk and I was like, what? He was being very difficult, but then it won me over. And the whole the kiss scene in that movie was so good with the trees, with the lights, and that was great. I loved that.
It was a green screen.
Yeah,
basically the same one that you're in front of right now. But thank you.
So good.
The atmosphere.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I loved that movie so much.
With because he had put the the lights up on the trees, and that whole scene. It was so good. Yeah.
Rachel, can you tell me, was this a Hallmark channel?
Movies
or Hallmark
Mysteries.
Movies and Mysteries?
Yeah, Movies and Mysteries.
Because I think that. So we do a bracket every year on All the Feels where we pit Hallmark movies against each other to see who comes out the winner. And that year we weren't doing Hallmark Movies and Mysteries movies. It was just Hallmark Channel. And I remember being really pissed off because I was like, guys, I love this movie and it's not on the bracket and it's not fair.
The Movies and Mysteries movies are going to be more our style, Dory, because they're a little bit more emotional.
Yeah.
They've got more going on, a little bit more going on and, a lot more levels.
Yeah. And a lot less, Santa rings a bell and the world changes. Can't really handle that.
I hear you.
It's
not real life.
I love Rachel just giggling like, oh, my favorite.
Yeah. And well, yeah, I mean, when I first started my YouTube channel, the first thing I did was a whole series on Cinderella, on ranking and reviewing every single version of Cinderella. So I've just always loved fairy tales. And I'm a huge Disney fan. I love The Little Mermaid, Beauty and the Beast, Snow White, all of them. I love all the fairy tales. And so, yeah, I've always just been a big fan.
Have you ever seen the movie Cinderella Story?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
My husband produced that movie.
Oh, really? Nice.
It was Selena Gomez.
Oh, okay. That one. There's a bunch.
Well, yeah. So I think he produced the part 2.
Okay. Yeah. That one. I like that one. I do.
Oh, great.
It is possible. This recent Cinderella was not very good that they had on Amazon.
Yeah.
It was not the best.
April Telek was in it. I did a movie with April Telek, a couple movies with April Telek. I think she plays the evil stepmother or something.
Well, Idina Menzel was the evil stepmother, but yeah, it
will come as no surprise that I loved it. I thought it was so funny. I thought it was so funny.
Well, it was weird because she wasn't even like an evil stepmother. Not that this is a podcast on the Cinderella, but she was like, go meet the prince, like help us save our family. And I'm like, what is this mother? Like,
right. I didn't see it, but I trust you. I'm with Dory on this one though.
I had fun. It had a lot of like pop music in it. Yeah, it was just not what I was expecting, and I laughed the whole time.
In a good way.
Yes, and Billy Porter was the fairy godmother.
But he's not in it very much.
He's in it enough to make an impact. Right?
He didn't need to be in it more.
He's Billy Porter. Exactly.
But in general, I love Cinderella and I love fairy tales. So, all right. Yeah. Northern Lights of Christmas. Like I said, I loved that scene with the trees all lit up with the Christmas lights. And I loved the reindeer. That won me over, even though he was a butt for a good half of the movie. So, and I liked your dress with the cape. That was very unique.
That was a good dress. That dress was so tight. It took 3 people to get that on me. I didn't even have to wear a bra. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It was so
cool. I've never, like, the cape was very unique.
Yeah.
It had like a red kind of, yeah.
I want to go watch that movie right now.
We'd like to take a second and thank our sponsor for this episode of the podcast. It's the Hallmarkies merch store.
Are you looking for that perfect gift for the postable, hardy, or Hallmarky in your life?
What about getting that t-shirt or hoodie that will help you stand out at your next holiday party?
Now is the time to check out the Hallmarkies merch store.
Full of festive designs by artists like Jessica Miller, Carrie from Hallmark Comics, and more.
You can even have more than just shirts, but totes, cell phone cases, notebooks, mugs, and more.
And it isn't just Hallmark. We have designs for Anna Green Gables, Man from Snowy River, The Nanny, and more.
Every purchase at the merch store goes to help support the podcast and allows us to make the great content you know and love.
There are frequent sales, so go to tpublic.com/stores/Hallmarkies or see the link in the description.
That's tpublic.com/stores/Hallmarkies.
All right, Dory, what's your number one?
I mean, it should come as no surprise that October Kiss is my number one. Ding. I feel like this is just, I'd assume that this has to be the movie you get the most, the people like coming up to you the most, right?
It's so good.
It's so good.
So funny. You guys, that was my first Hallmark movie.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I had no idea what was happening, but I will say I was constantly rewriting the script. And trying to add in jokes, like the whole thing about like trying to convince her that I'm really a mermaid was totally my idea.
I love that.
Oh, good. I had all these ideas about like questions. One day I made a list of like 50 questions that she could just be asking me as a runner throughout the movie, like about what it's like to be a mermaid. And one of the questions was, did you ever bump your head on a boat? And I said to the girl, I was like, say this. And she said it in one of the takes, and the director came up and was like, you have to stop. It's not funny. And I was like, I think that's so funny that like this little girl thinks I'm actually a mermaid and wants to know if I've ever bumped my head on a boat. And she was like, no, it's violent. Our audience does not like violence. And I was like, but it's a joke. Yeah, it's a joke. And the director she was really upset with me because I kept adding in all this stuff. So I'm glad it worked for you, because I have
funny.
like memories about that movie where I was like, wait, so in Hallmark movies, am I not allowed to like make a funny joke? And that you can make a funny joke. They'll just cut it later. But she was like getting mad at me on the day.
That is so interesting, because I feel like October Kiss is like a Hallmark classic. Like that might be one of my favorite Hallmark movies, period, in general.
Wow.
Yeah.
They don't do Halloween movies though.
They don't.
It's the only
That's
one.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's so interesting, because I think it did really well, and they replay the heck out of it. You know,
they play it so much, and everyone always online every fall is talking about it, loving it. So it's fascinating that was your experience, because it is so beloved.
Yeah,
it is so beloved.
Wow. Maybe I should see if they want to do a sequel of that.
Oh, you should.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, it's
like,
when
it's
they made a
it's
novelization
Halloween.
of it. They made novelization. It was so popular.
Wait, what?
There's a novelization of October Kiss.
By novelization, do you mean somebody wrote a book about it?
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
of it?
Of
Of it.
Like they wrote the story.
Yes.
Based
In
on
the
the
story,
movie.
was I a mermaid? Was I pretending to be a mermaid to the kids and trying to convince them of that?
Yes. It's the
I
same
should
as
get a writing credit.
Yes, you should get royalties and a writing credit. You heard it here
I don't
first.
care about royalties. I just want to be seen.
But you know, a lot of movies try to do this whole thing with the like workaholic dad or it's usually dad, sometimes mom, but usually the dad, and usually it comes up to some kind of big realization when they're given the big presentation, and usually it's super cringy to me. I'm just like, oh, just finish your presentation. Don't stop in the middle and be like, I have to go.
Right.
But for this movie, it works, and I bought it.
What did he do?
and-
I don't remember. Did he stop the presentation?
Yes, he's like,
Mhm.
so-and-so Miranda Fragone can finish off the presentation. She knows more about this than I do anyway. And then he goes and leaves.
Oh.
And so it was like, fine. It made sense. And they actually just had it on a recent, on the Boyfriends of Christmas Past. She's almost done. Like, finish the presentation, then go make everything right with your guy. Like, you don't have to stop
10
in the
minutes
middle.
won't change anything.
You can have it all,
exactly.
girl.
You can have it all.
Be a career woman and go get your guy. Yeah.
So that usually just runs real flat to me, and the whole shaming people for working hard and stuff. I hate that. But in this one, I just thought it really did work, because there was so much heart in his character, and he was trying so hard. He was not a bad man of business in any way. He was really trying to make things work for his family. And when, you know, he dresses up as that knight in shining armor, and then you show up there and you're like,
so what would the concept be for the sequel? Because the kids are all grown up at this point. They're probably gone.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you could always recast the kids, but like, the thing is that for Hallmark movies, they have a hard time with sequels. Usually the sequels are terrible because they don't know what to do next. And that's part of the problem. The couples together.
Once they're together, you're done.
What do you do next?
The only hope would be that we broke up.
Like, if you recast the kids, you could do a Christmas kiss and have a wedding. That would be fun.
Oh, a wedding.
You guys, Nikki Dillich just texted me with Aaron Cahill. I mean, the love is real.
We've done both of their rankings.
Aaron Cahill's like, I refer to her as like, she's not actually a person. She's like a fairy. She's like a fairy person.
A fairy person.
She's so nice.
That's so sweet.
She's the nicest person I've ever met. And it's so crazy because she really means it. Like, she'll stop and be like, do you know that I love you? Aww. Do you know that you're amazing? And I'm like, do you know that this is not how people talk to each other?
I know. I met Erin Cahill.
Didn't she do that?
Yeah, wasn't she so like, nice. She couldn't
always need to believe in yourself. Always.
Oh, yeah.
You're like,
Mom? No, you leave. And with Nikki Dillich, every time I talk to her, I feel like I am like a better person afterwards. It's like, okay,
1,000%.
Taking notes, thinking about my life, gonna have devotional after.
Totally.
Reevaluating her whole life.
if I get on the phone with Nikki DeLoach, my husband's like, see you in 2 hours. Because we're just like, the last time I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna put my earbuds in and we're gonna go for a run together while you talk in my ear about like all of the things. And I got a good run in.
Yeah. But yeah,
Anyway.
October Kiss, it's got such good chemistry. It's characters you're rooting for. It has big heart. It is not, I think, kind of unique that it's got trick-or-treating and dressing up in costumes and
imagine that.
all that.
Halloween.
Yeah.
I also appreciate an October Kiss, speaking of like women supporting women, I really appreciate that there's not like a competition between the two women who both care for this man. And it's like so often in a love triangle or whatever like that, it's like one woman is portrayed as like a shrew or someone evil and someone nasty and scheming. And this woman really isn't. She just likes this guy. She's trying to like test the waters and see where it goes. And when she realizes that he is falling for someone else, she just bows out and she's like, you know what, I care about you, I want you to be happy. It's clear that, you know, that your heart is elsewhere, so go be happy, I want that for you. And that never happens, and I love it so much, because I hate when we portray the other woman like that. It's just this evil, conniving, whatever.
Yeah.
I love that. She was just, you know, she had a good heart too. It was a lot of good-hearted people trying to find happiness in that movie.
I mean, the evil girlfriend can be fun, like in the 9 Lives of Christmas, where she's just so over the top and ridiculous, his girlfriend. But it does kind of, if you really start to like think about it, it does start to make you wonder, like, what is wrong with him that he would be with this person? Like, why would
you start to judge him. You're like, get away from her. Yeah,
she's
totally.
Awful.
But it's so much more true to life, that it's really a hard decision. You know, we don't want it to be too clear to the audience what the right answer is, you know, because that's way more like life.
Yeah, like Meredith Blake and Parent Trap, you know, she's gonna send them off to boarding school like immediately.
She's delicious. She's a great villain. That's a great villain. But it doesn't always have to be a villain. Sometimes people just aren't a fit, and that's okay too. So I like to imagine that she is off in, I think, Japan, where the app was being made, that she's off in Japan, falling in love herself. That's what I like to think.
Yeah. And hopefully Poppy is still doing her like really weird yoga classes. And
oh my gosh, the trying to remember the yoga poses kills me every time. It's so funny.
My favorite thing is like, she was in this like Warrior 2 or something, and I like limboed under her arm for some reason, because I thought that would be funny. And I was like, they'll never use this take where I like limbo under her arm inexplicably. And then they used it. And all these people are like, because there was no other way out of the yoga class outside where there's tons of space. Anyway,
doesn't matter.
Comedy.
Amazing.
Comedy.
Yeah. So good. Yeah. So let's go over our rankings real quick and get some final thoughts. So I have a number 1, I have October Kiss. Number 2, Northern Lights of Christmas. Number 3, Never Kiss a Man in a Christmas Sweater. Christmas and Evergreen at number 4, Holiday Hearts at 5, and Love on the Limb at 6, because I'm evil and I want to tear down trees. Tori, what about you?
I'm sorry, I just pictured Rachel protesting at the tree, like, cut it down, cut it down. Oh my gosh. Okay. My number 1 is October Kiss. Number 2, Northern Lights of Christmas. Number 3, Never Kiss a Man in a Christmas Sweater. Number 4, Holiday Hearts. Number 5, Love on a Limb. And number 6, Christmas and Evergreen. I am shocked, Rachel, that our rankings were so close.
Yeah.
I thought they would be completely different. Didn't you?
I don't know. It's always hard to tell with these things, because it's so hard, because you like things for different reasons. And so like, where do you rank them? It can be really tricky doing these rankings, but yeah, I had a feeling we might at least have the same number 1. So I wasn't surprised by that. because October Kiss is so good. And we did a
Right.
whole episode. We have a series that we do monthly called On Friendship, where Dr. Elisa Lucas, who's a friendship scholar, literally that's her emphasis. And so every month we talk about movies from relationship standpoint as opposed to just romance. Anyway, we did a whole episode on October Kiss, and it was one of our favorites. So
Wow.
yeah, I'll have to send you the
What
link.
a compliment.
Yeah. So what do you think of our rankings, Ashley?
You know, I think this is the gold standard of the tried and true, to each his own or
Mhm.
her own. I appreciate your perspectives. This is it's also been very informative. You know, I'm a producer and a writer as well. So I'm always trying to clue into the perspective of the audience, and you guys are smart and you pay attention. So this has been really educational for me.
Well, anytime you need our perspective, we're available. So let us
Amazing.
know.
Amazing.
And when can we expect a sequel to October Kiss?
Well,
Just
now I'm wondering if
ballpark.
we should just do a reunion of
Yeah.
Sam and me. Sam Yeager and me should be in a movie
Yeah.
together.
Yes.
That's
I
what
would
it should
love
be.
that.
We'll get
And
Nina
then-
on board. It'll be great.
I'm wondering if we do another holiday like Easter or something.
Easter Kiss.
Easter Kiss.
They should do that because the Easter movie they made was terrible.
Oh, it was.
Yeah, they tried to make one Easter movie and it was really bad. Where there was like this dream.
Was that the one like, do we automate the Easter basket making process?
Well, there was that, and then there was also this like undercover jobs thing about it. When it's like it's a very small company, and you don't recognize the daughter of the president of the company you're trying to get this major job from,
Mhm.
like that works in the company. Like, how can you not recognize her? And there was like this thing they were supposedly going to save the company by making these like giant chocolate eggs. And I'm like, who on earth would buy one of these? Like, it's not going to save the company. Like, what?
I'd buy one.
That one was terrible.
But Rachel, how do you remember these details?
Yeah, seriously.
do not remember. I only remember, do we make the Easter baskets by hand or do we put them on a conveyor belt? That's all I remember from that movie.
That was a detail that you remembered.
Yeah.
That was the one detail. And I think it was because I ranted about it. So it kind of implanted in my brain.
Mhm.
But Rachel, how do you remember these things? It's the elf in you. Look at that. Those ears perked up, just taking in all that information.
Because she's a really good listener. Yeah.
She's a really good listener.
I don't know.
I don't remember that stuff.
If it's one that I've covered on the podcast, I remember way better than one that I've just
Mhm.
watched, because if I've actually like taken notes and thought about it, and then I remember it way better than like if I'm just casually watching something.
Mhm.
But yeah, I guess it's the podcaster's gift, what you say. And I'm not even that good compared to like Cammie, who's on the podcast. She is incredible. She knows, for When Calls the Heart, she knows every single minor role like that's ever even been on
Wow.
anything. I mean, she remembers every detail of these things. And when we're doing a recap, she's always like, oh, wait a minute, you forgot about this one little part. I'm like, oh, oops. She's really good.
That's incredible.
So yeah, we all have our gifts, I guess. And like none of us are Mary Lou Henner. I mean, she's unbelievable.
Mhm.
Yeah. Do you know that about her, Dory? That she
Yeah.
has this incredible memory?
Yeah, I saw the interview about her memory and how they studied her brain, right? They did that in the memory interview and everything. That's
Mhm.
crazy. I am the opposite.
She's so nice. And as are you, Ashley. Thank you so much for doing this. And
My pleasure. It was so fun.
I mean, do you have a favorite that you would, it's probably Love on a Limb, and you're going to be mad at me now.
No. What's my favorite?
Too hard.
I think it might be Christmas Sweater.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I
yeah.
think Niall
fun.
Mater.
It's a fun one.
Niall Mater was probably my favorite co-star. No offense to Paul Campbell, who's a very close second and a very close friend, by the way. So hopefully he doesn't see this.
We'll send him the link.
Do not send him the link. Do not. I love Paul Campbell, but that movie, I don't know. But Niall, we had nonstop laughter together. And on camera, it really translated to on camera play. Whereas
Mhm.
Paul Campbell and I would be like making each other laugh off camera, and then they would say action and we'd be like, hello. I don't know. It was just, we pulled it together, you know?
Yeah.
Um,
Well, here's
so-
a funny story about Niall Mater. So I was kind of nervous. I don't know why I was nervous because I usually don't get nervous, but for every reason I was nervous before interviewing him. And I asked him right before we got on, I'm like, how do you pronounce your name? And he's like, Niall Mater. And it's like, okay, I've got it written down. I've got everything.
Oh,
And then we go
no.
live and I'm like,
He said matter.
It's Niall Mater. And he was like, do you need to do this again? I'm like, oh no. I was so embarrassed. Like I literally had just asked him like minutes before, but because I was nervous, I'm like, I'm sorry.
He's so great. I really love him.
No, he was very nice about it. But yeah, no, he was great. And so, well, very good. Thank you so much for doing this. We're really excited about the Sister Swap movies. And
Please watch, and please
yes.
Hashtag Sister Swap. We really want a trend that really makes a difference. And tell, like, seriously, I'm not kidding. Like, call, you know, people who are like a sister to you, or if you have a sister, and you know, reach out to them about this movie because it's really about you guys. So spread the word.
I have 3 sisters, so I'll get them on it.
Can you please? I
Okay,
really, really, really want that. I'm gonna try to do like a sisterhood push, you know, in the next couple of weeks. And I wanna interview some sisters, and I want, you know, it's the Christmas of sisters.
Okay.
I actually was trying to get them to call the movies. Wait.
Well, yeah, didn't they have a different name at first?
Sistmas.
They didn't like that.
I'm calling them Sistmas from now on.
Hashtag
Sorry.
Sistmas.
Yep. The hashtag Sistmas along with the official hashtag is how I will be tweeting.
For a little while, like I was also we were thinking about calling it It's Christmas, Carol, and then changing my character's name to Carol. And then the other one would be called It's Christmas, Eve, and her name would be Eve. I thought that would be so funny.
But they've already had movies with both those names.
Oh, maybe
there's
that's
already been
why.
in It's Christmas Eve and in It's Christmas Carol.
Oh, well then never mind. And then the other one was like
only on Hallmark would you have those names.
Totally. I can't remember, but Sismas was my like, please. They were like, no.
Love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
All right, guys.
It's Christmas
you're
Carol.
Awesome.
It's Christmas Carol is with Carrie Fisher, so it's a really fun one.
Oh, well, I got to check that out.
Anyway, well, thank you so much. And if people want to follow you on social media, how can they do that?
It's Ashley Williams and Company.
Great. We'll put all that in the description. And thanks so much for joining us. We really appreciate it.
Thanks, you guys. It was so fun.
The best.
Thanks, Dory.
Bye. Okay. So, Dory, how can people follow you and all the feels?
You can follow us on Twitter at All the Feels Pod. We also have a Facebook page. And yeah, those are the best ways to get in touch.
Yeah, and you can find me at Rachel's Reviews, all of our social media, iTunes, YouTube, and on Rotten Tomatoes. So check that out. Also, make sure you're following the podcast at Hallmarkies Pod and Hallmarkies Podcast, all of our social media. And if you are listening on iTunes, please leave your ratings and reviews. That really helps us so much to be able to find the show on iTunes. And if you are watching on YouTube, please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. We appreciate that so much. We also have our Patreon group where we do the watch alongs. We talked about a bunch on this podcast. So please take a look. That helps us so much. And we have the merch store, which has tons of fun Hallmark inspired merch. So please take a look. Holiday inspired designs. We would love that so much. And thanks so much to Ashley and thanks, Dory. And we'll talk to y'all later. Merry Christmas.
Bye.
Bye.